Hi, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to stand on this stage. As you heard, this is my first time to give a presentation to you. And I will tell you some stories about how I started using AI in my work. So first, I want to ask you a question. How many of you have ever been to Hustef? Yeah, okay. And how many of you are here for the first time in Hustef? Oh, nice. You're welcome. So welcome here, and I hope you will enjoy this event, and we'll come back next year. First, one more question. How many of you have played Lego before? Oh, yes. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about my adventures with Lego figures. So there will be no prompts, no product demonstrations, no company references, okay? Just stories. About me, some words. I would like to introduce myself, although some of you here know me on my nickname, which is Joey. So call me Joey, please. You're all my friends. I've been testing software for a while now, but starting as a developer back in the medieval age, maybe, but then I was drawn to the dark side of power. So now I'm a tester, test manager. When I came here, I wondered is it worth talking about my competencies like this, but or should I say something trendy? Maybe the number of titles that emerged since the advent of the AI is endless, and I think it is still evolving today. So I wanted to avoid being called a prompt engineer and wanted to create some new titles, but no, these are not correct. I'm only a custom GPT user, okay? So this is my title now. So let's get on with it, because the question is yet another regression test. There are dozens of test cases that still haven't been automated. But it would be nice if I had some junior colleagues, for example, sitting next to me. I could give them the task that I could do something more exciting. Or even better, an automaton could do my job. Oh, I mean, do automatons really want to do my job? What is a job for me? For example, what do we call job? Is it that boring task, what I do from 9 to 17 every day? If that's, then come on, AI, just do it. Take my job, it's okay, it was boring, and I could do anything else which is more interesting for me. But if you love that thing, what you get money for, you should concentrate that and leave the others for AI. So I think the main message from this, you should recalibrate your work. And then AI won't take this. So what are the tasks that you would most like delegate? There are a few that I have come across that always been a favorite for me. For example, when I had to prepare a mess of test data for testing, or when I was asked for very long, very complicated SQL statements with a lot of error possibilities, of course. These are my own errors. Testers can make defects as well, but don't think I will be proud of them. And of course, do all this accurately, quickly, and very cheaply, you know. I think you met this situation where 2 out of 3 at most. Of course, the examples are numerous, and many of us have experienced in that work. So then after not so long searching and browsing the literature, I found a solution which couldn't be anything other than, you will never guess, customized generative pre-trained transformers, better known as custom GPT. And let me introduce two of my colleagues, custom GPTs, that I want to tell more about. Here is Cicero and Vulcanus. And Cicero is the first one. It writes SQL statements in an Oracle dialect. It already understands quite well what the business side wants from him, although it can sometimes be confused by more complex requests. Spelling, wording, and appearance, these are the best properties, and I think he's best in this. And even remembers comments and the semicolon. I think when you met Oracle dialect, you know what I mean. The second one is Vulcanus. It produces test data to Oracle database or CSV format, understands me in half words. A bit vague, always ask me back. But when it is confident in the task, it can work independently. We'll come back for them later, but let's ask some questions. First is, let's get one step back and ask, when I start to develop personas like this, these are the main questions. Why is it good for me to use AI to perform my tasks? Is it really good for me or not? That's me on the picture hanging out on the beach. The sun is also shining definitely brightly, with the occasional palm tree fluttering in the sky. Beautiful picture. Could you say it's an idyllic? Meanwhile, my AI alter ego in the office is doing his thing in neon lights, and even with his back to the monitors, it's working efficiently. Very nice. I don't need to tell you why is it good for the company I work for. Revenue is increasing as the team seems to be able to deliver more projects. Shares are soaring, the company will be dominant part of the market. Investors are happy. So this is the answer for the question, why do the company to use AI? The adoption of the use of the AI follows a different logic than before, as the tool itself is helping its own adoption. What else can come? Because these custom GPTs like Vulcanus and Cicero spark my imagination. There's no longer any barrier to use of AI. I can think about full-scale automation. The solution can be extended to the entire development lifecycle. You can imagine training additional personas. Do you have ideas? Ask the question to yourself, how can I use a custom GPT like this in my work? And you will have very much ideas. These ideas can be integrated with the test environment or other infrastructure elements. So these will be integrated custom GPTs in your work, in your processes. However, expectations should be treated by caution because, as in many other cases, the reality may be different. So this is why the image above shows how we might be thinking today about expectations for the use of AI. Students are sitting neatly, constructively, everything is in place, the expectations are clearly readable and about right. In contrast, it is not all clear what we want to use AI for and how we want to use it. The actors' ideas are strange, like their feet or even their smiles on the picture, as you can see. Some people only follow events from the back row, and also the inevitable post-its are still present in the work. So this is why it is necessary to talk about the experiences I had when I started using AI in my work. So that's not a surprise for me that I think it's important to clarify some of the terminology involved and also touch a little on some of the topics you can read about here on this slide. So this is what we were talking about. First are the terms. Do you know these terms? All of it? Okay, I try to imagine the language models we already know, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and so on. Then I realized that there are more and more of them. Mistral, Copilot. So I created a new picture for this slide, by AI, of course. I didn't ask for the word shown in the image when generated it, but it was perfectly added to the image, perfectly fits in the image, but nobody knows what does it mean. Maybe we think that was a thanks or something like that, but I don't know why. As you can see, this is not only a spectacular flaw in the images, what we can say about the errors that are much harder to notice. So these pictures are sometimes wrong. They've got some small errors. When you use AI in your work, you create documents and more emails. Please find the small box inside, because they are in that. Okay, I thought I'd put together the key dates in the development of ChatGPT. To do this, I asked AI, of course, because the document on the different versions is already quite extensive, as you can see on the website. I asked the AI to summarize it. Needless to say, I give a result with many errors and mistakes. So I have produced the table shown here from other internet sources. What is striking in the table is that there has been a significant acceleration in the last year as the language models have just seen are trying to grab more market share. I've highlighted a few important improvements that have a particular impact on the personas, what I use. So that's not to say that the others are very useless, but here I saw a lot of progress. When we talk about AI personas, we are really talking about different approaches and understanding language, not just words, but sentences, context, and even intent. The real direction now is toward multi-step thinking, systems that don't just answer, but reason, so that can connect ideas, reflect on their own logic, and adapt to the user style. Their main strengths are becoming clearer every day. Advanced text comprehension, fluency in multiple foreign languages, strong memory for past interactions, and the ability to learn from examples and feedbacks. What's exciting is that the capabilities aren't locked behind the paywalls anymore. Even the free versions keep evolving, offering voice-based chats, new generation models, and image creation features that make communication more natural and creative. So AI personas, not just tools, they're becoming partners and help us think, learn, and create faster than ever before. But there are limitations, like the literature sandwich challenge, when you need to formulate precisely your thinkings, your questions, your prompts to the AI, not knowing how you arrive at the answer, what is behind it. Sometimes the AIs are inaccurate, hallucinating, faking sometimes, but improving, they say. I asked AI, do you give some fake news for me? And it answered, yeah, sometimes yes, but I'm improving. Okay, let's do that. AI is resource intensive and needs a large amount of data to learn. Image drawing, image and text inaccuracies are very often when you use AI. Subscription-based limitations are another thing what we must speak about: content generation, document processing, and so on. So yes, AI is impressive, but it's still learning, just like us. But AI can be useful in a lot of places in our work. Here you can find some information. Custom GPT, I can say, that's a specialized trained tool designed for a specific purpose. Let's say GPT-4 is a starting point, narrow it down to a specific field, a specific goal or a target, what you need, and teach it in a targeted way. So this is how we can talk about custom GPTs. And we've got a lot of aspects to consider when we use these custom GPTs, like, for example, data protection. Every interaction might involve sensitive information, personal details, business data, or even intellectual property. Protecting that is not optional, it's essential. AI should process data securely, avoid retention of private content, and comply with privacy standards like GDPR in the European Union. Second is transparency. Users deserve to know how a custom GPT works, what data was trained on, what it can do, what just and importantly, what it cannot do. Clear communication builds trust. And finally, responsibility. Custom GPTs are tools, but the decision they influence are still human. Developers and users share the duty to verify the outputs and ensure fairness and use these systems ethically. But if we say that this is custom GPT and we start to use it, we can use it on different areas, as I mentioned. It can be a virtual assistant for you, like process automation, research assistant, and so on. The main question is, do you know what you want to use it for? And the other question, when you know the purpose, that is it really the right tool for you? Maybe there can be a different one. I will give you a story some slides later. But let's get back to our custom GPTs. First is Vulcanus. Okay, I told that it's tasked to generate realistic test data based on the prompt, output test data in CSV format, and it's got a configuration. In order to show the prompt, our conversation was controlled using specific instructions and the dictionary. The test data generation is always a pain point when testing. I think you know this. This is often the reason why it's necessary to have to access the database in which you can then operate freely. Once I was given the opportunity to sort financial transactions by value date, as this was required by the test. And what I did, not to take into account, was that the actual value was not in the field in the database with the same name, but in another field, which was called logical for. Don't ask me, to this day, I don't know how this came about, but I suspect AI will hardly find such an error like this. And I told you that I won't show you any prompts and other things, but let me show you the instructions for this custom GPT what I used. So you can find here the instructions. What makes it useful is precision and flexibility. Users can define almost everything. The model understands the structures and asks for clarification whenever something is unclear. This is the discussion between us. And the user instructions makes it even smarter. For example, you can say Hun to get Hungarian-style names and addresses, only X to limit character length, or format to specify patterns. So it even handles CSV formatting rules automatically, omitting questions, omitting quotients marks when they are not essential, and keeping the files clean and ready for Oracle import. So in short, Vulcanus streamlines database testing by turning complex data preparation into a fast, reliable, and customizable process. Next one is Cicero. This was the first custom GPT attempt. And it writes SQL statements and queries based on a prompt. Specialized in Oracle, of course. And it has to be configured to refine the output. And why might it be necessary? In case of complex data requirements, it will be very good to know the structure of the whole database. So it knows the annotations associated with each data table and field in order to write complex queries. This is the role of Cicero, what can be used in special ecosystems like Oracle. And here are the instructions for Cicero. So this custom GPT is built to write Oracle SQL queries with precision and efficiency. It creates optimized, standards-compliant queries that fully respect Oracle's specific syntax and limitations. And now, let's go to some short stories about scripts. What I did is, these were some case studies. So I created some short Python codes to specific tasks. The script was written using AI, which was used other AI engines. It was working with Oracle databases, of course, because they were specific for this. And what was required for this? I needed an OpenAI API key, a Python with some models, and a database, of course. I tried to give try to avoid some bad practices, but that was my experience to learn how to use these scripts. So the first was the questionnaire. This script was created to make database queries using free text input. It asks the user what they want to know, generates the SQL statement, connects to the Oracle database, executes the written SQL statement, displays the result on the screen, and saves the result in a CSV file. What are the possibilities for further development, like interaction, more interaction between the user and the custom GPT, timestamping for reference, specialization in different contents of topics of data. Next one was the drawer, which was a database schema drawer, connects to the database, queries tables and keys, creates a relational diagram, and draw it using, for example, Graphies, which is another tool, and saves it in a file. This script was written using AI. So when you use the custom GPT by creating instruction created by another AI. Very interesting. And the next one was the fall, when I wanted a custom GPT to create a complex multi-step script. What was the task? I had to insert AI-generated test data into databases, queries and database, so query the database after startup, retrieves the list of available tables, and creates test data, custom test data, and inserts it in the database. So it was an epic fail. It couldn't be done. Maybe if I could repeat this script creation, maybe nowadays it could be successful because AI engines involved. And the rise, maybe the last one and the most important, where I've got the good news for you. So let me introduce my last custom GPT persona, is Hermes. And it brings you the good news because its job is to create test cases for a specific feature or based on a detailed specification. And here you can compare an AI engine which is untrained and another one which was trained to make test cases directly. I think you can see the differences, and as a tester, you can say that maybe if I should work from those instructions or these ones, maybe you can choose which one is better for you. So these are the results. Maybe this is good news to use ChatGPT and custom GPTs in your life. So the takeaway, I wanted to tell you how I started using AI at work, but of course it's different for everyone. It's all about attitude, how you train your AI. If you teach it in a targeted and planned way, it will have these skills where you use it. Don't adapt your strategy to the technology. Choose the right technology to your strategy. So thank you very much. Thank you for your patience here. Okay, this is Hungarian, maybe, or not. This is more better. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. We have 1 minute for questions, so you need to answer a lot of questions live after your presentation. First of all, the $1 million question. If we give easy tasks to AI, how the juniors will learn basics, stuff that helps us grow? So what will happen with the juniors if we train AIs to become juniors?
Maybe juniors can use AI for their work as well, and they can learn together with AI. So this is the way how AI can be useful for them. When you create the complex tasks, you can split it for small tasks, and you can use juniors and AI, of course, to make those tasks. Maybe this is how you can make it, and I hope I could answer this question.
Okay, and the last question, how do you get enough data to train your customized AI?
Very interesting, because when I started to use OpenAI, I didn't have any data for that. And that was a big problem for this. But nowadays, in my work, I create a lot of data for this by using AI or by having other professional stuff like databases in test environments, of course, in the financial sector where I work.
Okay, another round of applause, please, to József Kreisz, our presenter.
Thank you very much.